Is Damion Crawford too gimmicky for considerations for presidency or the PNP? Let's find out. Welcome back to my channel, Keeping It Real 876. And if you're new, welcome to you. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'd like to first thank all my new subscribers, commenters, and of course, my day ones for supporting my channel. This really means a lot to me. Do continue to join in, tell a friend to tell a friend, and hit that notification bell. Sorry, bell. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about bills. So that you can be up to date and up to time with all my posts. Yes. So much has happened since I last posted a video almost 2 weeks ago. I know, I'm sorry. I am busy. Was really, really busy. I can hardly believe, like, was it really almost 2 weeks ago I posted my last video? I'm sorry, but I'm gonna work on it. All right. So many things has happened, right? We see the Prime Minister has been sworn in for yet another term, and there has been talks all over, on social media that the opposition side, on the opposition side, they must say there is no need for vacancy for the presidency of the PNP, right? So the whole talks and propaganda that Mark need to step down or whatever, on the Son of a popular channel, they're saying that we must come off a Marky G back because there is no vacancy for the presidency of the PNP. Well, talk about that later. All right. But we see on the flip side that Jamaica is doing real good in Tokyo and so many other things, right? We see also AI generated image of Alkaline and his alleged partner circulating. I mean, so much is going on. So much is happening. But I digress. Um, Although we know that there's currently no vacancy for the post of presidency, the word on the streets is just that, the word on the streets. I mean, there may not be any vacancy for the position, as I said, right? But we don't know what can happen in the next 4 to 5 years. So, given that this is a democratic country and there has been an overwhelming amount of noise on the leader's commanding presence or lack thereof, as promised, I will continue to discuss, yes, or finalize this chapter in this video as to the candidates who are eyed for presidency if Mark was to step down tomorrow. Wake up and say, yeah, him give up and step down. Yeah, I will finalize that chapter. All right. So the third candidate, who everyone has been talking about, and of course you all would have known the third candidate by now, is the goat man himself. Yeah, the goat man, aka the gimmick boss, aka the cheerleader of the PNP, Mr. Damion Crawford. Yes, the what can go so boss. Yes, the theatrics boss. But don't get it twisted. Damian is not just a theatrics boss. Damian is a very, very smart, very, very, very smart man. Damian is an educator, right? And of course, an activist, right? So let me get straight into it. Why is Damion Crawford considered an eligible candidate, right? Damion Crawford is a sharp-witted fellow, right? He's a member of the sharp-witted clan. in the PNP, right? He's not just a sharp-mouthed politician, as I said earlier. He's a educator and a community advocate, right? He rose to prominence, or he first rose to prominence as a guild president at UWI, notably leading a 2004 student protest for equitable access to education. So you see, from them time till now, he must step. Yeah, and him step strong and solid, like a leader, right? So of course we need leadership. We need leadership qualities for a leader. You get it? Right? So 2004 back them time in UAE, he must step, right? Years him I do it and not just yesterday, right? And he formally entered representational politics 7 years later in 2011 when he was selected by the People's National Party as a candidate for East Rural St. Andrew. Mhm. He went on to win the seat in December of the same year, right? For the first time. Right? You can imagine you enter politics for the first time, you come out of school, whatever, from 2004, 7 years later, enter politics and you win. Yes, that was his story. And nobody can rubble that out. That was his story. That is his story. Right? Crawford continued to serve as MP and was appointed Minister of State in the Ministry of Tourism. You remember them time there in the Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment. You remember that? Under the Portia Simpson Miller led administration from 2012 to 20. Sorry, Damion Crawford served as the Ministry of Tourism and Entertainment Minister. Yes, and sad to say, his upward trajectory was halted slightly in 2016 when he lost his seat in the general election to the Prime Minister's wife, First Lady Holness. Yeah, when the GLP won power. But as you know it, as Caesar would say, you can't keep a good man down. No, you can't keep Damion down. Damion continues to serve in the PNP, but as a senator, and he held opposition spokesperson roles and such and the like, such as the youth culture and later education, right? Spokesperson roles. In 2019, 3 years later, he ran in Portland Eastern by-election. And we know them said a by-election then up over Portland side it ticklish, yeah? Because it is alleged that, one who put together, one who are out, who forget one who in a seat. We not go much into that because over here since a mix-up channel, right? But overall, that by-election was triggered by the death of the PNP MP, Dr. Linville Bloomfield, but was defeated by Anne-Marie Vaz, aka Action Anne, who we now know was taken down and sent to nurse her grandkids by the modern day human rights activists. Yes, Isaac Buchanan, right? So Isaac Buchanan did to Action and what Damion in 2019 was trying to do but failed to do. But nevertheless, a win is a win for the PNP. So moving on. So Damion was also the opposition spokesman on education in 2022. Right. So he was doing his opposition spokesman role and so on. And him finally 3 years later from 2022, 2025, him get him little light and he's back again to the MP role. This time in the St. Catherine Northwestern constituency. Right? He unseated Newton Amos of the JLP. So that was basically nearly a 10 years, basically 10-year, right? Almost a decade of him going back to his role as an MP, right? That rough. So from 2016, Damion Crawford, I see a lighter day as an MP. Just the day I wallet, bunks it. And, uh, in come a long way, as we see, just a recap a little bit. So if you're following, Damion came from student politics as UWI Guild president to MP in East Rural St. Andrew, to senator for the MP with different opposition roles, to now winning back as MP for St. Catherine Northwestern, right? So many persons will see parts of his story as progressive easily say, yes, it's a progressive move, he's always on the move, always on the go, progressive, progressive. The moves on the part of this cross-country representation make him look like a rolling calf. Damion look like a rolling calf. And we know what they say about a rolling calf, right? They say what? Rolling calf gathers no moss. So hopefully, he'll finally settle down at the St. Catherine Northwestern for good. Because the street is talking and the people them must say the one bag moving up and down no look too good. Right? Find a constituency and stick to it through the end. Thick and thin. Yeah? You must win through thick and thin. Alright? But on the other side of education, Damion also worked as a lecturer in tourism management at UWI and founded The Hope, helping our people excel, right? So it's a CXC tutorial program, right? So you want the students to shine like a diamond, like him, bright, sharp-witted, bright mind, bright face, bright eyes. Yes, right? So that's a good move and a good initiative. He is also known to have created a revolving student loan fund model at UWI, right? So you see, a true activist in the field of education, indeed. And that's just who he is. And you can't take that from him. He's an activist, right? But of course, Damion is not without controversies. In 2021, he was rebuked after claiming critics of Prime Minister Andrew Holness were being arrested and publicized on the internet. Members of government had an issue with the statement and pressured him to withdraw it, to which he did after a back and forth exchange of words that lasted about 10 minutes. Yeah, so one big cuss out in a parliament. One big draw out brawling behavior. Yeah, people think about draw out brawling behavior and believe say get alone these things happen. No, it happens right there in Parliament as well. Right there in Parliament, we see it every day. People walk in, walk out while walk out while Prime Minister makes speech, walk out while opposition makes speech, brawling department. And I hope under this term, them get it together. The parliamentarians, I hope they get it together and there can be a level of couth behavior and a level of diplomatic type of behavior, as we are all to see, or as the heads of government and high office job type of thing. We're expected to see good behavior, and I do expect to see that this term and moving forward, upward and onward, right, by our parliamentarians. But I digress. So though Crawford had withdrawn his statements on that account, yes, he was pressured. As I said earlier, there was some rebuke by what he said about those who criticized Andrew Holness. They were being arrested and publicized. So he had to withdraw. He had to withdraw those statements, right? So, but there's another account again. But this time, them statements that we make about Desmond McKenzie, never moved them at all. Earlier this year, right, in March, he made some statements about Desmond McKenzie. I will not repeat those statements, right? But he made some statements about Desmond McKenzie at Portmore Community College, and apparently Desmond is saying that those statements are defamatory in nature and Crawford should withdraw or issue an apology, right? Because those statements, according to Desmond, they have badly damaged his reputation, and him business people, them and financiers, them a come down pan him and a question his integrity. Right. So he filed a lawsuit, and I can follow up as to where that lawsuit is, but yeah, that is where we are as it relates to lawsuits. And as you can see from my last two videos, everybody have basically have a little lawsuit attached to them. As far as I can see, a little lawsuit, a little brawl here, a little brawl there, little withdrawal statements here. I guess it happens. Of course, in the real world, you're gonna say things. People are gonna say things, and people are gonna want to file suits and all. So, right, it's just what type of to what extent or what magnitude are these suits based on? What were said, what were done, what are actions done, right? But as for all the suits that I've seen so far, they're kind of on the same length. I can't say, oh my gosh, that was really out of pocket. I can't really say nothing much. No, because looking back to the Julian suit, when I understand about the first rock thingy, Julian may have acted uh out of impulse at the time. It never really seemed nothing too out to um out of pocket, so to speak. It's just a little bit of emotional intelligence probably was lacking at the time, most of these suits that I'm seeing. All right. So although Damion frames his activism as direct and relatable, many may see him as a mere cheerleader, disc jockey, and vibes master. No lies. Damion brought the vibes and the spice and the niceness to all the political campaigns and rallies that he attended, right? So he knows just how to bring the vibes. You can't take that from Damion. Everywhere Damion there, every pan knock, trust me, Damion know how to bring the vibes, and he might bring it out in our way. If you really listen to when Damion talk, he might educate you at the same time, so it's not just a gimmick thing, right? But it's just how that what the streets say. The streets them have him as a gimmick boss, but if you really listen to a lot of things that the Damion say, even when I do the maths and he must say, don't make them buy your vote because $5,000 and him a break it down and make him know say yo me know the maths. So when you listen to like most of what he says and break it down, he's trying to make the popular man, or the common man rather, understand what he's saying, right? But I think that is costing him. Him trying to relate to the common man so much in a weird kind of way, and the style in which he do it, sorry, it's costing him, right? People not really seeing him as a leader just because of his style of really relating to the common man and how he portray himself, how he puts himself out there on these campaign trails and rallies, try in the quest to really level down with the common man. He might lose it. He might lose points. So while I'm trying to level down with the common man and gain points on that note, interestingly, he's also losing points in the eyes of the higher heads and many members of the electorate were saying that he is not a eligible candidate. They're saying because of his style of trying to be relatable, right? And vibesy and gimmicky. Yeah. What can go so? One by one, uno go into jail. One by one, uno go into jail. So they must say, yo, no man, a gimmick thing game and them game and ready for big seat role like PNP presidency. So yeah, so it's kind of funny that all of his realness is costing him. But yeah, that's what people the results are in, and that's what they're saying. Right? So fast forward. So there you have it. Over the weeks, I've been getting feedback on the three candidates that I mentioned, right? So the first video I did, I mentioned Julian Robinson. The second video, Dr. Alfred Dawes, and this Damion Crawford, right? So of all three candidates that were proposed by members of the streets, yes, aka the Streets Party, right? So of all the members of the three, the majority said, wait for it. Julian. Yes. The majority said Julian Robinson is the man for the job. So if Mark wake up tomorrow and decide to step down and shock Jamaica, people them attack and I said Julian is the man for the job, or in other words, he is PNP's best bet, right? So of all the three men proposed, Julian have the background, him tick the box there. Him have the background, him have the law background, like law in him family. I think he has a sister who's a lawyer, father lawyer. Yeah, law and order. It's in him, it entrenched in him from a youth man days, it's in him. So law, him have good background. He has the great commanding presence. We can't lie upon that one there, but you guys can tell me what I think in the comments, right? Great commanding presence, and he knows how to make strategic moves. If you go back to the video, you've seen the strategic movie he had made, and there are others, we can continue to do our research and dig deep, right? So he's making strategic moves and so on, as a commanding presence, as a background for the job. So there you have it. I didn't want this to be a long video, but if is there anything else that I'm missing, please feel free to share it in the comments. And of course, if you watch this video and you reach this far in the video, just like up the video, no man. Yeah, please feel free to like and share this video, and also tell a friend to tell a friend that Keeping It Real 876 is in town. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.